The Code of Hammurabi, one of the most famous legal codes of the ancient world. It provides a remarkable window into the society and government of Mesopotamia around 1754 BC. Established by King Hammurabi of Babylon, this collection of 282 laws was inscribed on a stele discovered in Susa, in modern-day Iran, in the early 20th century. The code offers insights into the values, norms and hierarchies of the time, and reveals how justice and authority were perceived in one of the earliest urban civilizations. Hammurabi's code established laws on a range of issues, from trade and property to family and criminal justice. Its famous principle of an eye for an eye underlines the notion of proportional retribution that shaped its enforcement. The Code of Hammurabi provides a detailed snapshot of Babylonian society, emphasizing its rigid social hierarchy and the importance of order. The laws dealt with various aspects of daily life, such as property disputes, contracts, marriage and inheritance, reflecting the complexity of urbanized Mesopotamian culture. They were applied differently according to social status, distinguishing between awilu, free men, mushkanu, commoners, and wardu, slaves. This stratification influenced the severity of punishments for crimes, with punishments often being harsher for offenses against higher-ranking individuals. The legal principles of the code included restitution, proportional punishment and the protection of property. The famous dictum of an eye for an eye, lex talionis, epitomized proportional justice, although this principle was modified by social rank. The laws also emphasized the protection of vulnerable groups such as widows and orphans, demonstrating Hammurabi's intention to present himself as a just ruler. By codifying these rules, the Code of Hammurabi reinforced the king's authority as the ultimate arbiter of justice. The implementation of the Code of Hammurabi relied on a robust legal framework to ensure that the laws were not merely proclaimed, but actively enforced. Local judges and officials, appointed by the king, were responsible for hearing disputes and making decisions based on the code. These judges were required to interpret the laws fairly, and the penalties for corruption or misconduct were severe, reflecting the system's emphasis on integrity. The laws were publicly displayed on a stone stele, signifying transparency and accessibility. This public nature of the code was intended to educate citizens about their rights and responsibilities. It fostered a sense of legal awareness. Legal procedures emphasized evidence and witnesses, and false accusations were severely punished, ensuring accountability. Despite its sophistication, the legal system retained elements of ancient religious practice. Trials often involved oaths sworn before the gods, and divine judgment was sought through ordeals in cases where clear evidence was lacking. This blending of legal and spiritual authority underscored the deeply intertwined nature of religion and law in Babylonian society. The Code of Hammurabi had a profound impact on the development of legal systems in the ancient world and beyond. As one of the earliest comprehensive legal codes, it set a precedent for codified law that influenced later West Asian societies, including the Hittites and Assyrians, who adopted similar legal frameworks. Its legacy extended to other ancient civilizations, such as the Greeks and Romans, whose legal systems shared its emphasis on written statutes and judicial authority. The lex talionis principle of proportional justice found echoes in later traditions, including biblical law in the Hebrew scriptures. The discovery of the code in the modern era has provided historians with a wealth of knowledge about ancient Mesopotamia, illustrating how legal systems can both reflect and shape the societies they govern. The Code of Hammurabi remains a symbol of humankind's enduring quest for justice, demonstrating how ancient practices continue to inform contemporary legal and ethical thought.